gonna be a good day. The toaster lies in bed with the strudel in itself as the couch cushions lead the refrigerators on their parade that will take them through the innermost heart of America's cities and sleeping, soundless poster frames as they cascade across the popcorn ceiling that is led by the Marmoset and the Daisy Dukes together in tow. And today we have Paprika. Paprika is one of those films that it's not like a new release or anything, but as usual, my art house theater was doing some midnight showings of films that are like staff picks, tales old as time for me. I don't know what it was. It's one of those films like, Perfect Blue or whatever that I would always see in passing, see a trailer, hear a kind word about, hear something about, and I'm a fan of anime, and I love creative, visually striking, well animated, just good quality animated films that stand the test of time. And it's just one of those that's been on my list for a while. And then when I saw that it was going to be in a theater, I thought, perfect. There's nothing I love more than being able to see a film that I've been meaning to see for a while and getting to experience it for the first time on the big screen in a theater with a crowd. Paprika is a movie that came out in 2006, and as usual, pardon my mispronunciation of the names, but it's directed by Satoshi Kon. I say it how you will, he's the director, who unfortunately, rest in peace, is no longer with us. And this was actually his last full-length feature film. But he's been known for other films that, funny enough, are also on my list, such as Tokyo Godfather, and, as I previously mentioned, Perfect Blue. So I've got some catching up to do. I don't know if those are going to be in a theater anytime soon, so I might just watch those at home, maybe make a reaction video or a movie night out of it. But anyway, if this film is any notion of what he's normally about, then I'm gonna really enjoy it. And I'm not gonna get into actors or voiceover or this or that. I watched it subbed and not dubbed, so the original voice actors and all that. Just want to focus on the director and go from there. Yeah, I loved Paprika. It was great. I love movies that are creative and also in this case, creative, whimsical, yet still serious. It still are, but at the same time, it's fun and silly and whimsical. And I don't know if you watched my Ant-Man review recently, but I kind of chastised that film for being ungrounded silliness that kind of escapes itself here or there. This movie is much more the kind of out there, out of the box thinking that I would like to see and prefer to see in a film. The whole premise is more or less that there's these devices that are letting people in this company try to help people, through therapy and all this by being able to enter their dreams and interact with them. But of course, all tech that starts to really delve into human consciousness, there are people out there that seek to use these things for bad. So terrorists manages to nap one of the little dream guys, I think that the DC minis what they're called, and basically be almost weaponize it, but trapping people in these weird conglomerate dreams that are cyclical and nonsensical and just a mixture of your subconscious and theirs. It's very much clearly what inspired such films. I mean, I don't know if he's admitted it or not, but clearly what inspired such films as Inception, because you literally have dream in people's dreams. And now that I'm thinking of it, even games like Evil Within, which Evil Within is literally we're diving in to this STEM machine program thing into the subconscious mind of a psychopath, and all of our subconscious and minds will be melted together. Kind of similar in this, but this is, a bit more lighthearted than that. In case I haven't already made it apparent, this film is supremely fun, very creative, also kind of gives everything everywhere all at once vibe. I only make that comparison as, I'm drawing from films that I've already seen, but I acknowledge the fact that obviously this film came out afterwards. But it's creative, the way it's able to go from serious real life into the dream world, sometimes without even giving you a warning that it's about to happen. It makes it for a fun, engaging watch. You're really invested in the characters, in the narrative, and the plot. At least I was. So I was along for the ride, and there was definitely a ride because I was never quite sure 100% what might be real, what might be dream world, what was going on. I was trying to figure out the mystery along with the detectives and the scientists and all of that. And Paprika herself, who has kind of a split dream personality that also can go into people's dreams, but is a more wild, free spirit and has more control in dreams. Like, she can really manipulate and maneuver. And speaking of which, both her and the rest of the cast all very well acted, like voice-wise. Voiceover is great, no complaints there. Cast is great. There's a lot of good line delivery, both in the serious moments, but also the funny comedic moments. By the way, because this actually has a lot of funny moments throughout it, and the comedy all pretty much lands for me. If I had to list any complaints, I'll admit some aspects of the third act are purposefully ambiguous in what transpires, and I understand why. A lot of this is kind of up for interpretation. You extrapolate and you kind of decide what was going on. But for my personal taste, I would have liked, I'm all down with ambiguity, but sometimes I still prefer like directional ambiguity, if that makes any sense. To make it approachable, which I don't think, this has to be a concern, but I think it works to the film's detriment. I don't know, I think audiences, I've noticed that a lot of like your typical movie-going audiences, especially of the American variety, if things get too convoluted and weird or too hard to follow, it turns people off. I like it when movies are complicated and have a lot going on, but it does work a little bit to the film's detriment. I think that it makes it so things kind of get like twisty-turny, but also like very involved, and sometimes it's a little bit of whiplash and you're trying to follow like, oh wait, who's the bad guy? So wait, who's doing what? Wait, so you're saying this person did this, but who does this mean to that person? There's layers to the movie. Shocker, I know. And you can follow it for the most part. I could probably tell you what happened for the most part, but it's a tad bit convoluted here and there, and I wouldn't mind a bit more cohesion. But again, for the sake of this film's whole conceit and premise, it's diegetic, it makes sense. I'm still along for the ride. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, honestly. I mean, I really enjoyed this. I'm pretty sure, when I watched it, I was loving it. I was loving the movie, along for the ride. I would say this is going to be a quick, short review, but it's just, an anime from 2006 that's from a director that I now like a lot. I want to see the rest of his films. I think it was fun, entertaining, funny, has some good philosophical and psychological questions and implications regarding dream theory, regarding dream interpretation, regarding human subconscious and psychosis, and how far is too far when it comes to advancements in science and exploration like this. We can kind of map out the brain during dreams, but what if we could actually do this? Are we pushing the envelope too far? So it raises up some good, questions about morality and humanity, and is this even plausible or even morally conscious to do? But I digress. I would easily give Paprika a high 4 out of 5. A high 4 out of 5. It's near perfection. I definitely really loved the movie, but it's missing that little icing on the cake. It's a very well made cake, but I would have liked a little bit more pizzazz to it. That's just me. I like I said, don't get me wrong, I really liked it. I just would have liked certain aspects to have been more cohesive and involved. I don't know, I don't want to trash the film for being ambiguous on occasion, because that's not bad. Films don't have to have an answer for everything, but maybe you can read between the lines and kind of see where I'm coming from. But I really enjoyed this. Super fun, well animated, pushing the boundary of the animation, creative, and I love creative films, especially creative anime, because you can do so much with the format of animation and all that. So I'm always here for it. I would love to watch it again. I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's just it. It's a near perfect film that almost completely does it for me. But again, just personal preference on my part, I guess. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Paprika. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. And goodbye, travelers.